Hello everyone, I'm Gilles from Fallen Moon Promotions. I'm here with the lovely Colour of Bone. Here just for a few pints and questions. I'm going to start, probably with Will. I'm going to say, how was Colour of Bone formed and how did you get your current lineup? Maybe should have asked Johnny that, but still.
You can help me out. So, how long has it been, Johnny? 3 years? Yeah, 3 years since we met up at Three Horseshoes in Bradford Haven. Yeah. You, me, Rob, singer, and no, it was Theo. It was Theo, the bassist. Yeah. So that was when Colour of Bone was formed. Not too long after that, we played our first gig at Three Horseshoes. We went through a couple of lineup changes, and for the past year, we've been the current lineup.
Yep. The best line.
Yeah, I mean, because you were joined.
I joined about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, so you've been there for about 6 months before I joined.
Yeah, thereabouts.
And then Johnny headhunted me.
Yeah.
And then
Disclaimers. Yeah.
I got headhunted at Will's stag do. Yes. Johnny was on the sofa next to me going, "You played those. you up for tuning low? Have a whiskey there, boy. To play the pick."
and then I joined in December last year, or thereabouts. I think I had the audition.
It was when the siege unfortunately broke up.
Yeah.
And from the ashes. Like,
Same. One of my songs.
It was like, I remember that guy. Get him.
So literally just over a year now that we've been doing our thing.
We've done a fair bit in the last year, though, haven't we? Since with the current lineup.
On average, a month.
We've squeezed in a lot.
Yes, we've been on the back foot since COVID, like everybody, and numerous awful.
As an outsider, and with no bad blood to anyone else, I think this lineup has something special about it. I would say it now in person, but still, there's definitely something like ordained about it. I think. Yeah. With these guys, as soon as Jack, just like the timing. Yeah, the timing was perfect.
Yeah, it feels that way. It feels like we've kind of gotten to. Say groove being the type of stuff we play anyway, but it seems like we've kind of all fell into place at the right time and kind of developed the sound together as a still as Colour of Bone, but as a new version of it.
And that brings to the next question. Because also the timeline of how bands are formed. You're absolutely right. It just has to be the right line. So, who would you cite as your biggest influences? That could be individual or as a band, like your sound. And no doubt, so since Jack and Dave have joined, that's probably now amalgamated or something. But
yeah, I guess so. I guess like as an overall band, right? We have a kind of general vibe in terms of, because we've had this conversation before in terms of which bands would we kind of cite as our kind of influence and stuff, but we definitely have individual ones as well. Like, so
we're quite different individually.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So I know for myself, I'll kind of answer that first, I guess. I haven't really been singing all that long anyway. I've only really been doing it for 2.5 years or thereabouts, which is mad. So like it kind of stemmed really from just always liking heavy metal and that sort of thing. So you can go with that kind of the classic stuff of like, we're talking like Sabbath and that side of thing, but the way I actually sing and stuff is more kind of, I guess, thrash kind of influence. So like you're talking like things like Hetfield and that sort of stuff, but then because of the type of music that we play as Colour of Bone, it's also got that influence from that kind of grunge side of things as well. So Alice in Chains, like Pearl Jam, that sort of stuff is separate. Yeah, Big Cornell as well, exactly. But then going into that with the kind of more rough kind of vocals as well. With like Devin Townsend and even like Lamb of God and that sort of stuff as well. It's recently for myself anyway, I've been getting more into the kind of like harsh vocals as well. So definitely getting influence from that, I think.
You know what I'm going to say.
Eddie.
Well, it's strange, Eddie Van Halen. I started listening to Van Halen a couple of years ago. But my main influence, the first band I ever saw was Pink Floyd.
Yes.
but
That
I
wasn't a
can't.
surprise to us, by the way.
Yeah.
Internal bends.
big old Bens. Yeah, big boomer Bens. I don't care what Tim Henson says, he can go fuck himself. He never said he didn't like them. You can still sound like it.
Good wish.
It is a
Good
pretty
old
cool man. But yeah, I'd like to play like Dave Gilmour, but I can't, so I play like Hetfield instead.
Ain't nothing wrong with that either. I'm fine with that.
with a tasty blues-based solo occasionally, but yeah, I love 90s era metal. Machine Head, Pantera, all that kind of stuff.
Pantera the music, not Pantera the people.
We don't talk about it.
Don't go by him.
Separate the artist from the art.
Yeah.
I think for me, like seeing as when Dave and I joined the band, it's been going a little bit heavier. I'd say it's almost gone from like old rock to old metal in a way.
Sure.
And with that like slightly more aggression that's coming in, I think the band for me that I kind of like think, okay, maybe that's what we steer towards is a Mastodon.
Yeah.
They've got that groove to where there's that dissonance in a lot of their songs that we lean into a lot.
That's just me playing bad. So what chord is this? I don't know.
It's another one called Exciting. But I think, yeah, that's what kind of draws me in, and the kind of conceptual stuff they do. Like, they're not afraid to do a 12-year-long song. And I feel like that's the kind of vibe we can fit with. We get time.
Yeah, and almost like, especially because like we are in the process of like writing some new stuff as well, and the way that's going is a lot more kind of like you said, like kind of conceptual side of things, of like telling a story, like whether it's like based in real life or like a mythical kind of story influences and that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, I can understand the Mastodon for sure.
It's weird because I don't disagree with anything that's been said, but when we first kind of met up as a band, when I heard your first recordings back over 3 years ago now, and the first few jams that we had, I think we sounded like, to me, we sounded more like a stoner rock band. Kind of Caius, early Queens of the Stone Age, like Fu Manchu, that sort of thing. Definitely kind of moved away from that.
I used to use a lot more fuzz back then.
Yeah, it's definitely still like a stoner rock kind of undertone, I think, to a lot of the stuff. But
totally,
yeah, that's like primarily what I heard.
We still got one of those new ones. It's very stoner.
Well, it's a lot of people that have come up and seen our gigs and stuff have mentioned Caius very much so. And like you clearly have the influence from them.
And Alice in Chains, I think Caius and Alice in Chains are the two big comparisons I get.
Bad thing at all.
Well, yeah, we'll hold up to
good
those.
company.
Thank you very much.
I hadn't listened to much Alice in Chains. That was the first thing people always said. And it was like, we're going to have listens. Like,
Maybe you should check out Bleed the Freak.
Drop it.
Hashtag big freaks. Get bleedy for the needy.
I'm going to quickly go off script because you reminded me, Dave. What is Collarbone's writing approach for the last year or so? So do you go in a rehearsal space with a riff or an idea? Do you write together, or is it someone just bringing something to the table?
I have many riffs.
Yes.
I have a library of riffs.
I mean, in actual fact, to the point where we have like a shared kind of like drive that we use, and we have like lyric ideas, song ideas, and there will just be a plethora of files, which is literally just like, I have this riff. Here is a cool riff. Let's see if we can do something with that. So it feels collaborative, but a lot of the time it's one person might come forward. And then over the last like few times when we've been looking at doing rehearsals with the intent of songwriting, is we'll run through the set to make sure that we're like a bit loose and kind of go back into it, make sure that everything's a bit tight on the set, but kind of in that kind of frame of mind of actually, okay, we've played that, we know we've got that, now let's see if we can work on something else together, like in a room with each other. So it's
Always progressing.
Yeah,
exactly.
and it's really cool because I could come up with this riff and I'll play it at home, like jam it out, record it to some pre-recorded drums and shit, and then I'll bring it to the group, and then it changes, and it's always better. And I'll be like, oh, my little riff, and then it's like, show it to the group, and it actually becomes this bigger thing, it like pops off the page, and something becomes alive. That's right.
On that
The
point,
collaboration.
I watched recently a video of how drums can affect a whole song. So the Queens of the Stone Age one, I think it was Songs for the Deaf maybe, but they played the same riff, but with completely different, and it was literally like a very forgettable song. And then with the and it completely changes everything. So
it's only when we actually jam together that the song comes alive, right? Pretty much every idea originates from a Johnny riff. But then it only comes alive when I think we jam it together.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
I just think one of the things that sets us apart, it's like jerking off it, is
Jerking
drumming.
off.
In
But
public,
it is genuinely drumming because you've got that like, kind of groove to it, and there's like a little bit of like an offbeat vibe every now and then, and I think that adds like.
It's called being sloppy.
I told you.
it's okay. He needs to do it.
When you play a wrong note, it's just purposeful dissonance. When you play off beat, it's
Jazz.
groove.
Bristol is one of your main bases. How are you finding the scene? And hypothetical or not, what would you like to see changed? Not necessarily any cons, but what do you think the pros of the scene are, and what would you like to see developed in the local scene?
I think it's kind of a nationwide thing, really, that the music scene is in the shit. You know, local venues are closing all over the place. Like, there's just no money in local bands thanks to certain companies that we won't name. But
we'll have to use.
That we'll be forced to collaborate with. But there's so many people just putting their heart into it that it does still exist. Like, it would have died if people didn't care about it.
Very good point.
Because we were
Spite of the system.
yesterday on a Monday night, seeing some metal bands play, and it's like, there's not a bad turnout here. So it's alive.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's-
I interrupt.
I think it's you kind of hit the nail on the head, really. Like the grassroots venues have been struggling for the longest time, and they've been trying to keep it as live as best they can. And they are really, really putting the effort in to do it as well, despite the losses they must make sometimes. But because there's such a big scene within Bristol, it's a very arty city. You know, like people want to have like music and art being kept alive in Bristol. So even if we don't necessarily, I'd argue, we fall into the uncool metal side of things. But even with that, it still feels like we have options to kind of play lots of different venues, and lots of different places are still giving the opportunity for unsigned, unknown bands to actually get on decent stages. Like,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes. Like, whether it's like the scouting sessions in the Fleece, that sort of thing, whether it's like a brilliant networking situation to be able to do. Louisiana are putting on like gigs constantly for like local bands and things as well. Exchange, like there's so much stuff going on. You just have to be willing to put in a bit more effort than you used to.
I think it's deeper than that. It's more of a realization I've had in the last few months, and that it's a state of community and supporting your friends and the bands you like, and even the bands you don't like. You go out and you become part of the scene and you get involved. I think bands will get stuck. They'll be going out, they'll be gigging and not getting people in, or they get to a certain point and they'll run out of oomph, and they'll be amazing, but they haven't contributed to the community, so they won't get any further unless they get noticed by some random major. You know, it's like, but that's more likely to happen if you've got all these other buggers who are in bands turning up to your gigs and bringing their friends and going, these guys are fucking cool.
It is one thing actually, like you kind of brought that up, Johnny. It is one thing that we do kind of really focus on as a band, is that idea of we're all in it together. Like, not just within the band itself, but other bands we come in contact with and people that we share the stage with, and like you said, even if we're not necessarily a direct fit with what music they're doing, we want to support everyone that's doing their own thing. And I think Bristol's very good in that sense, that actually it does feel quite genuine, and that people really do actually give a
20,
shit.
30 minutes on stage, we all know what it takes to get to that point.
Yes. Yeah.
And we all look forward to it. It's like you've been practicing this many hours, putting in this much money to get it working, guitars, equipment, etc. Like 30 minutes, it's like gone. It's like, when's the next 30 minutes where I get to do what I actually really love?
Yeah.
How much social media do I have to do to play this gig?
Exactly.
I mean, there's always going to be
Boring videos. I'm joking.
There's always going to be those
videos.
artists who get huge online and then just go on a world tour without ever having done the shit gigs. But you can tell there's people in the city and around the area who care about authenticity and who want to look on stage and be like, man, this guy lives down the road from me and he's trying his fucking best.
I think there's a great example with the authenticity and longevity. And the best example I can think of for a local band is Sergeant Thunderhoof.
Yes.
They've been going for so long because they do exactly what they want. They do it properly. They release albums old school and they
Vinyl. They're vinyl.
and they have a solid fan base, and it's like,
I mean,
they'll go forever.
I mean, and what their album got into like the top 40 in the UK charts this year.
It only took 10 years.
It's amazing. It's so good to see. It's
a slow burn.
And you know, we interact with those guys as well because like the rehearsal space we use and things like those.
Stage 2 Studios.
Stage 2 Studios.
Hashtag Stage 2.
Yeah, you know, they're a part of that. So it's like, you know, it's amazing to see these bands that are still putting in the effort and they're still clearly passionate about it, and they're getting the payoff.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see. So it kind of keeps that motivation going, I think. It's,
Yeah. Not every hit is a TikTok fucking 5-minute burn.
Yeah.
There's some musicians out there still, thank fuck. What was the question?
Well, no, honestly,
Feels like a whole
The question is, what's it like having ADHD?
Choose
Unmedicated. Medicated.
Well, if you're unmedicated, you
Yeah,
start a band and then you do the social media and you run around trying to get gigs.
Will, if you want to get anything in there?
Well, Bristol music scene, so I think it's easy to forget, although I don't think any city in the country is what it used to be necessarily 20 years ago. I think it's easy to forget how many killer venues there are in Bristol. We've played lots of them, but it always amazes me how many more there are. And I'm always learning in new venues I didn't even know existed. So yeah, we're from Bath originally, and Bath used to have a decent music scene. It's not dead, but luckily it's only 10 minutes on the train to Bristol. So.
And you got new stuff opening every now and then, like the Centurion. Had one of our best gigs there.
That was bizarre.
That was great, man.
Yeah,
I
proper
love that.
biker pub. They were bopping. And
good time, man.
A lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, I love those responses, very genuine and real. And now a bit of fun though, fantasy that will become reality.
Thank you.
Who would you like to support in the future on a tour? So you could be, you know, like literally out there. Not anyone that's dead, has to be alive. But who maybe like the curation, who just fits you to the, you know, like a glove, and who are massive. So.
It's a bit late for Sabbath, isn't it?
I'd say Clutch. I think Clutch have got that kind of fan base, but the people who love them fucking love them and will buy every single album.
They've got a cult following, haven't they?
Yeah.
A very dedicated fan base.
And I think that's an energy we could feed off. And they're an older band that are clearly into it. Green Lung went to tour with them recently. They're doing great. They're clearly a band that care about supporting up civic noises.
I've got one which is a bit more kind of, well, I think the vibe what they're doing, and it also is that idea of like they are very, very pro getting some unknown bands the recognition, is Spirit Box.
They played in London the other day.
I was there. Yeah, so it was so good. So they played a sold out alley parade, and they're a good example of like a band that have like worked their arse off. They got hit by COVID when they were going to be touring with some big bands, and they were lucky in the sense that they had some people that kind of recognised that, okay, these people shouldn't have missed their opportunity, and they're clearly trying to pay it back.
Yeah.
And their whole vibe of like slightly kind of melodic but also very heavy metal, I think actually fits in with what we kind of do quite well as well. So I think having that would be a very, very cool thing, and would also kind of open up a whole group of an audience that wouldn't necessarily think of us, but would be a good fit in that kind of that new version of metal.
I'm just going to say Gilles.
Fair enough.
Sick.
That'd be fucking amazing. Slightly incongruent, maybe.
Nothing heavier in the universe, is there?
Yeah. Fucking it's on my playlist.
I mean, the French Olympic Open is so many. Oh my god.
Yes.
And they've got their own tone. You just know immediately when they guitar.
Much heavy.
Aiming high, Queens of the Stone Age for me.
Hell yeah.
That would be good.
God.
Be a party.
I think it's quite a broad range we could fit with a few of these, which is cool.
It's actually, as you mentioned, like, and because I know we talked about this as well, and I know this idea is like something you mentioned before. Will, I was trying to figure out what what genre we fall into,
Wow.
and it's always difficult anyway. Groove metal is probably the closest thing we can kind of say, but like there's fashionable, but we get fashionable metal, but we do so many different types of songs, and yes, they all kind of fit in that metal umbrella. But actually, what they like about the band is the fact that we don't feel pressured to force ourselves to be in like a pocket of like, this is what we are. We just write a song and go, okay, this is it. Let's go with this.
So for competition, you need your own take on things as well.
Yeah, every artistic shit. We don't know, not doing it. We just had it a few times.
The good thing about that as well, you can tailor your sets to different kind of venues. Kind of games. If we're playing as a super kind of heavy metal gig, if we're playing the Griffin, then chances are.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We're going to win a heavy one. Exactly.
Yeah, and if we're doing a bar mitzvah, maybe something a bit lighter.
Move offside. The band members, yeah.
I've been looking for a new title for a song. So.
But yeah, we've often been either like but we have often been either like a really heavy band at an indie night, or the least heavy band at a metal night. So it's quite nice to have that fluidity.
Deprivation Festival. Like, it's a rock band. It's like, hey, just wait till the last song.
We still got some.
Only burn without headless guitars.
That leads me to the next question. We're trying to move things not forward, not rushing. We're just trying to make it flow. You mentioned Centurion, but what is your best gig ever? Obviously, collectively as you four.
Let's have a discussion about that.
I enjoyed the Fleece. I think we played with us.
Yeah, I think so.
Great sound as well.
Oh, that was a
It's the last gig without.
the second one is opposed to the first one.
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah.
We were very good.
I think for me, it's our victorious set at the Underdog at the Thunderbolts.
I was going to say,
That was a good gig. We were
killer for me.
Actually, you know what? Actually, I think as a band, the energy we had and the actual the way we performed, I think
I think you are right. I enjoyed the Fleece more, but I think we played better at the Fleece.
It was a short set. That out.
Yes,
It's on theme because it got you to the Thekla.
exactly that.
And to the O2.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and then the yeah, I think I agree actually. Energy, feeling, the way we played, the way we got the crowd interacting as well. I think.
I told my mum I already won.
Well, hey!
Yeah, I told your mum you won as well. Yeah.
So yeah, I came off that stage kind of like going like we literally couldn't run past. Yeah. So it was a case of like we performed the best we could, and it felt very good coming off the stage, and it felt like the crowd knew that as well.
The feedback was good.
Last time we played there, I came off the stage thinking, yeah, we could have done more.
We had
This
done
time-
nothing.
left.
We had done nothing. This time we understand. We understood what we had to do.
Yeah, that's clear then. Band decision. Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
It's our most gig. We're getting better.
We are getting better.
Next question. Mission to not hold back, be arrogant. Again, hypothetical maybe, but
This
just
is
be
my
arrogant.
department now.
What sets you apart from other bands?
I'm really old. I'm like that guy out of Motley Crue. What's his name?
Mick Miles.
Mick Mars.
Miles was going to be Will's pecs.
And what is that too? A skeleton and Will's pecs. Sorry, ask that question again.
Well, it could be in any context. It could be that. What sets you apart from other bands? In terms of, we could say Bristol scene, but because if you're talking the bigger scene, you know. But in you guys have to believe in yourselves, obviously, and you do. You've already mentioned about your sound, which I think sets you apart, and you basically explained that yourselves. But you have strong belief in yourselves. What is it that sets you apart? Why would someone listen to you rather than someone else?
Sure. I think like I don't mind taking just to kick things off. I think what you said there, this strong belief in ourselves. We do. We know we're good at what we do. We have confidence in that we can also deliver the standard that we hold ourselves to. And because
beyond social media.
Yes, yeah, but essentially but because of that, it feels like that. And this is not to say that other bands aren't doing this. It feels like whenever we are stepping on stage, we're doing so in the knowledge that we are as tight as we can be. The songs, we've honed them, we've perfected them as a band, and we've tweaked them, and we keep on tweaking them, we make little changes here, little changes there. Because of that, we're going to always have a good performance, but also because of the nature of, as we already talked about, the difference in the type of songs that we do, it feels like we kind of fit into a bracket where there's going to be something in our set that everyone that likes heavy music will enjoy. Like a lot of the feedback I've had from like people that have seen us, like I really love this, and the next person I talk to, like, oh, this is my favourite song. Are you? Completely different song. So it's that knowledge of like, oh well, regardless of which song we play, someone's going to think that's our favourite song. And it's
the power of the set, the curation of it, the dynamics.
I think one thing we've done there is the work ethic, because we kind of attack it with a real fucking professional attitude, even though we are not making any money off it. But it's that focus and attention to detail, but also variety. But there's not a lot of bands in our kind of sphere that will play a ballad and like scream and go about cannibalism about a minute apart.
But then I've never been able to have a hobby. It's always got to be as good as it can possibly be. I can't do things half-assed. I can do the whole-assed.
Why half-assed two things when you could whole-ass one thing?
That's right. This is just one thing.
I double-ass half a thing.
Asshole the thing.
You leave Emily out mathematically is what I'm
No, great.
Yeah, I mean, that's coming from you, obviously.
All the music actually comes from genuine place as well. It's all about life experiences. There's nothing in there which is manufactured.
Yeah, if you listen to the lyrics and the energy of the song and stuff, it's all
So it's not some bunch of suits sitting down saying this is the algorithm and this fits this. It's like, no, just a bunch of cunts who sat down and had a fucking hard night and it's coming out in the music. That's only who listened to some good music before, and that's what inspired. I guess everyone does that to a certain extent.
I think ultimately we're not kind of trying to cater to anyone, are we?
No.
And it's just all fit within like you said earlier, we're not fitting within a certain genre box. Like literally, when we work on a song, we just make it how we want it to be. And it could be completely different from the last song that we made and completely different from the next song that we make.
Yeah.
All of our songs sound completely different, as we said. So we've got songs that are pop like headbanging songs. And I think, going back to what you said a minute ago, I think the fact that when we play live, everybody has a different opinion of their favourite song.
I'd have to do it anyway. If it wasn't happening, I'd just be at home going, this is a good record. Play that one.
But you have an outlet for it.
Yeah, I'll play that at 3 o'clock in the morning with a fucking bottle of whiskey while everyone else is asleep. That's a good riff.
I love that answer, those answers, because although at some point there's some kind of commercial influence and social media, as we keep saying, but legitimately it's the authenticity and the passion that the crowd and fans, you can't fake it, and if they like you, they're going to really like you, and they're going to realise the lyrics, the way it makes you feel your music is genuine or not. That's genuine. The next question. Alright, Johnny, behave.
I think you know what our biggest challenge is.
Yeah. I
know what Jack's biggest challenge is. It's being in a band with 3 people that have quite severe ADHD.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just raw dog in it.
It is a bit of a joke, but it is a genuine thing. Like you hang out with people in the kind of like creative kind of sphere. Anyway, a lot of people tend to have some kind of neurospiciness about them. Jack is severely dyslexic.
No, I'm not
But there's a certain amount of going on.
I'm neurospicy, I'll take that.
There's something going on
There's
there.
something going on there, mate.
A bit weird. He's a bassist. Do we need to...
That's so true. Yeah.
But just in terms of like the internal kind of challenge and stuff, that is something that genuinely we have to think about and like planning ahead and that sort of stuff. And one thing that we do, which I really, really love about what we do actually, is we are very open and honest to each other about what's going on in each other's personal lives. So whether we're having struggles with work's busy, or the creative juices aren't flowing, or I got distracted 12 times whilst talking to you. It's stuff like that. So
There's a goat!
yeah, it's
There's the vote. Yeah.
So
Horny old goat.
that in itself is a thing, but other than that, it's and again, I'm not sure if you guys agree, I'm pretty sure it's kind of an accepted thing. We all have lives outside of this as well.
I do.
But the perception is easy to think otherwise because you're this brand, you're the band, and
Yeah, so we all work, we all have families, we all have whatever else is going on outside.
Labradors.
Labradors. Well, they have children.
Oh yeah, there's a child.
It's just me. I have no excuse. But yeah, so like stuff like that, right? You've got to exist outside of the band, and the amount of time and effort it takes to put into this to get to a standard that we want to hold it to.
yeah.
It's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah. And then setbacks of any kind are like there's soul-searching moments. And it's like, but what else am I going to do? Should I give up? Fuck off.
Never.
So I'll be doing this when I'm old and fucking
That wasn't
great.
even a question, was it? But a nice
Well, I think that the edit of the cut will say that because it's about challenges. So you answered it very well.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think I kind of missed the actual question answer.
What was the other question?
What's the biggest challenge facing Follow Alone?
I think it's one of the challenges is certainly the same as everyone else is getting gigs. Continue to get gigs. Keep the momentum up. Funding everything. Because let's be honest, we've never made any money. Some bands get enough money to pay for recording. We're not there yet. So everything's done off our own backs. It is a passion project. And it's the same struggle everybody else has. So, specifically it's the ADHD thing, but I don't know why it is. You seem too bad. You get fairly organised because of it.
No, we do, yeah. Each of us has their own hyper focus.
It's 15 riffs. I think our biggest
And put them into one track.
It's like 10 hours long. Is when you play a riff that's so heavy it creates so gravitational field you get knocked out by the
Too
cabinet.
heavy.
Yeah, it happens so often lately. That's why I had to get rid of the amps, because they just kept fucking falling on me and I couldn't get back up. It's
slightly different. Big challenge is fitting everything in.
Yeah.
We're either rehearsing for a gig or
Skiing.
snowboarding.
or looking in the calendar, jack away. Like, does this guy even work?
I think because we do all have other hobbies and lives outside of the band and busy jobs and that sort of thing. It is difficult to find enough hours to fit everything in.
It is, it's tricky.
Like we're either practicing or rehearsing or songwriting or
And there's so much we want to do. It's just not enough time to do everything.
I think we do everything we can to make it work.
We can, 100%. But,
Sure.
I think you guys are being very transparent, and those watching that are in bands and artists will definitely sort of relate to it. So yeah, thank you. The next one, apart from myself, and I have to make that super clear, apart from myself, so you cannot include myself.
Okay.
What other artists on this planet would you like to collab with and work with?
So we're not including you. Not including you. Okay.
Pitbull. Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. 305. Dale!
Oh,
Yeah.
Hey, what do you
P. Diddy.
no.
No. Censored.
No. That was a joke.
Cancelled.
Every great song of the noughties has got Feet Pitbull at the end of it. We need to vote Feet Pitbull. That's how we get to the next level. Frog Lord. Feet Pitbull. It'll work. Gone to the swamp. Damn it!
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose like if we're talking like in terms of like local bands sort of things, so we definitely do have some bands that we kind of feel like we connect with well, and like definitely want to support and therefore see us working together. If we're talking more on a big like dream kind of scale, then it's a bit of a different question.
That's more of an exciting answer.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. It's,
The recorded album featuring,
see, I bought them up before, but Courtney from Spirit Box, oh my god, like her vocals are
chorus.
Yeah, I guess like, something like that would be.
Ginger would be good.
I was literally going to say that. I saw her in London.
Oh, really?
She's fantastic.
Yeah, like, but like that kind of aspect that would bring in something else, I think would be a really, really cool fit to actually unlock the stuff that we're doing. I mean, that for me personally, that's coming from a vocalist side of things. Like the control that those two have on their like soft into hard vocals is just phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing. It's insane.
I don't know if I'd be able to play guitar with, because I can't actually play guitar. Just
ridiculous.
I don't understand how it works at all. I don't know. Notes mean nothing to me. I don't understand how it works. I just go, something comes out.
Unironically, Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit would be a really interesting one, because I think
It's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, you're more similar to him in style than you think, and I think he'd actually kind of like guide that a little bit. And I think it'd be really
His
interesting.
tone's brilliant.
Yeah. Also, it'd be interesting to hear him outside of Limp Bizkit in a slightly different style.
No, we'll just call him.
Wes.
rolling, baby.
Wait, what are you saying?
I don't know really.
But I suppose for me, like I don't necessarily. But that's always going to kind of a vocal side of things, which tends to be more on the kind of melody side of things. So in terms of you guys, with it being more kind of the rhythm side, is there anyone like I can't really answer it for that, because it's not necessarily something I kind of consider as much when I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing.
Bucket's the drummer.
So I'd love to do a collab with Turnstile. Fucking sick. Completely different style, but they've mixed dream pop with hardcore punk. So why couldn't they mix whatever the hell we do with hardcore punk? That's fair.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's great.
Yeah. Go on holiday with them.
Yeah. They have the most killer live shows I've ever seen. So just for that aspect, it'd be good fun.
Ooh, or Not Loose. Not Loose would be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
as
that's a good choice.
man. Oh yeah.
That does lead me to the next question. I'm seizing my moment. No holds barred. What is your guilty pleasure music? I suppose it's an individual thing, and again, disclaimer: you might be sacked from the. No Lost Prophets.
Oh,
No, yeah,
That way, can't even mention them. But yeah.
How gutted must you be if you were that?
I fled away.
The worst time.
You took the bait into the water and Johnny just.
That's the worst thing in the world, putting your heart and soul into a band and then your fucking singers are nonce.
It's a good thing we've all made an agreement to not be nonsense.
Contractual.
That was a prerequisite, wasn't it?
I'm not ashamed, but ABBA.
There's a lot
Gimme,
of
gimme,
influence.
gimme. It's one of the best bass lines ever.
Melody,
There's a lot of news comes from
structure.
ABBA. Yeah, Ghost as well is basically just slightly heavy ABBA, and it fucking
But
works.
it's certainly not fucking metal.
No, it's in the faith, man.
I see what you mean, though. Yeah, I understand.
ABBA are
that.
kings. Love that.
No, yeah, nothing wrong with ABBA, but yeah.
Some people say Ghost sound like ABBA is a derogatory thing. I could say that's the highest fucking compliment.
I see.
The figures don't lie.
Because we have talked about like, which I still haven't done, and I'm assuming my list on Spotify is still stupid because I have not given
Yes,
any
it
of my
is,
influences.
yeah.
Cool.
Check out Dave's Spotify playlist.
Don't do
Dave's
that.
top 10 on Spotify.
I have no idea what it is. It's not me.
It's mostly Finger Boys. I think.
Sure.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm
Bit of
actually
Aqua in there.
I am a Barbie girl.
I think that is actually.
But when we've had that conversation, like I remember me and you all talking about it, how actually like although we're in like a kind of like a heavy band, a lot of the stuff we listen to outside of it doesn't necessarily fall into that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of those would be classed as like a guilty pleasure type thing.
I don't think I'm guilty about anything I listen to. I listen to loads of different shit.
I think what anyone thinks.
Well, I think something that maybe some kind of people might kind of took my noses off that. I'm a bit of a raver really. I love my electronic music, so I like drum and bass, a bit of dubstep, like a bit of grime, all that kind of stuff.
Excellent.
But no, not guilty about it.
I'm not saying I'm a Swiftie, but I do like some of the songs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, the what's the perfect pop, we call it structure, radio song, like it's catchy and
Yeah, it's the same fucking chord progression every fucking time.
Hey,
So-
she knows what she's doing.
yeah, damn good at it.
Mine, although again, I wouldn't necessarily say a classic guilty pleasure, but people wouldn't necessarily think that I love musical theatre. I love it so much, and it's great, and I constantly listen to.
I just listened to
Creed and
Well, Ghost.
I love all three of those
the
bands.
Never Enough one, in terms of vocal, you know what I mean? Never Enough. That one, but yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's
Thank you.
yeah. I think because of the whole like going into like singing,
That's it.
not very long since I've been doing it. I've always loved that kind of like big stage presence, kind of vocals and stuff. So yeah, I listen to a lot of musical theatre. I love it. It's great. I'm actually seeing Hairspray later this month. It's great. One of the best musicals ever. Love it. It's fantastic.
That is, man.
Lovely. All right. Well, the most exciting question of the whole event.
It's where the babies come from.
What?
It's going to be do the drum roll. Oh, I should have done that, should I? I'm not going to be affected now.
I think it was out of time as well.
Ruined it.
What are the massive big plans for Colour Bone for the next 12 months? So obviously some of that is to come, and some of it is in stone. Can you tell everyone watching this the next
We're going
12
to play
months?
the O2.
There we go.
We're in the lights,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, exactly. Right over it. I mean, in all seriousness, though, the next big thing is the Technic gig. It's without a shadow of a doubt. We're pushing that hard. We are going to put on an amazing show. We've already got a lot of stuff lined up for that in terms of like visuals and crowd interaction. So we are super hyped about that. And then because that's going to go well, we'll then be playing the O2 afterwards.
The O2.
So come and see that as well.
In the next 12 months, so more songs.
Yes.
It's really.
It's going to be some
We need
recording.
to prioritise songwriting now.
Yeah.
Get some more songs out there, and then recording.
I mean, what
The
we've
occasional
got,
gig, but a priority
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
recording and release.
Yeah, because what we've got, we will have another release coming up leading up to Thekla.
Yep. One of your favourites.
Yeah.
One of your favourites, I believe.
Yes, yeah, with the guys at Woodbox. Check them out. They're awesome.
Brilliant.
So that's great. But yeah, we've been working on. What, we've got like 3 in the back pocket, like two or three
two
at
and
the
a half,
moment.
right?
Yeah, 2.5 at the moment. So they've had to take a bit of a back seat because of obviously the Underdog stuff that's going on at the moment, and we're kind of focusing on the gigs and stuff. But once we have a bit more free time, that's, as Will said, is going to be our kind of main focus, to get new stuff done, get recordings done of stuff that has not been released in studio recording as well. So more access to our music, basically.
Fantastic. And that's on the global platforms like Spotify, YouTube.
All that stuff, all that
What about-
great stuff.
Here's an off-the-cuff question, because like being in the band, I know how huge it is. What about music videos? Because they're, am I allowed to swear, Johnny?
Fuck yeah.
Fucking lot of work. Like, and to get it right or not.
Wait,
but, what about music
the
videos?
time, right?
Yeah, we're not talking about it. No, we did do Wait the Time. That was amazing. Loved it. Fucking loved it. But do you guys have plans for music videos? Because XYZ, they're a hell of a lot of work, but they're really important.
You gotta write fucking songs first.
Well, it's, the thing is, as you mentioned, actually. So when we were talking about what to do next, it was actually the guys in Sergeant Thunderhoof who actually said, like, you need to get a video out. Like, you need to get a video out there. You need to get it done. And we haven't necessarily done a music video as such, in the sense of like it's recorded and then a studio version of the song is played over a classic kind of music video.
Yeah.
But that's what really kick-started us to kind of pursue the Woodbox situation.
Nice.
So it's like
Live performance.
it's still live performance, but the videos are fantastic put together. The lighting's great. Like the way they've shot them are fantastic as well. So I think for me personally, that's like an inspiration to kind of go, okay, great. If it looks this good and sounds this good with just the kind of live audio with minimal kind of adjustments as well, the next thing we would then do once we got the recording done is to release them with a music video.
Wicked. Maybe narrative or something.
I mean, possibly. It's like there's lots of different options in terms of what we can do, right? But,
Yeah.
It would be cool. Time to think about it.
It's time,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Time and finances.
Time, finances, and again, because we talked about this whole funding it yourselves, that sort of thing. I don't think there should be any shame of putting something out which doesn't look like a very expensive finished version. Yeah. It's like just getting something out there which sounds good and does the job of, yes, it's a band that have managed to kind of almost slapdash this together, but it still looks good. That's right. And it's still getting the music out there. I think that shouldn't be seen as a negative thing. You should still be putting it out there rather than having it sitting there not doing anything.
To caveat that, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, when briefly mentioned them, they do visualizers are like almost, again I'll swear, shite. But it's just like, meaning just not only the music, but the actual visualizer, it's just like anyone can do it. But going with what you're saying, just something's out there. You just got to keep producing that content.
Yeah, exactly.
Måneskin does that very well. They do a visualizer for every single song, but they just have one of them dancing against a backdrop or something. There's a little bit of effort, but it's not a music video.
Oh, cool. So we'll take his top off, and then you can just dance against the visualizer.
Yeah.
Great idea. Yeah. It's an easy storyboard.
Dave's been drawing it for years.
In my mind.
But lads, it's been a pleasure. So this build-up is for, correct me if I'm wrong, Saturday, 6th of April.
Sunday.
6th of April.
Sunday.
Take two. Right. It's a holy day.
It's Sunday, the 6th of April. Yes, it is. You can get your tickets on Fat Soma.
Yep.
Hopefully general sale will go on. They'll edit it and put some
we'll put dates somewhere.
But yeah, come along and support the guys. If you want to hear their eclectic, diverse set of groove metal, not groove metal, they've got some special surprises in order and some great crowd interaction. So there we go. Colour up.
Fuck Donald Trump.